Star Wars Battlefront, the Classic Collection, is it just a huge flop or is it still redeemable? That's a question that's really hard to answer, because I do still think that a lot of people got this game for the single player part of it. So even though I think a lot of people are refunding it, a lot of people are seeing the negative reactions, the question is how much of an impact is this actually going to have on the sales and even the potential future of this franchise? Because with all of these negative launches, Battlefront 2 by DICE, another Classic Collection, I just feel like no one is gonna dare touch this franchise again. But we do have a little bit of updates on the Classic Collection, both from Aspyr, some new builds coming up, as well as from the community. Because it seems like they are doing some stuff to make things better. For instance, they have actually bumped up the ticket count from what it seems on both Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, making the conquest matches actually last longer. At least on the official servers, which are the ones that most people are playing on. At least that means that they're actively monitoring and trying to do something. But it seems like the team over at Aspyr is so small that we can't really expect anything major to happen. If you check the Steam database, you can see that they've actually been rolling out multiple new builds over the last 24 hours, meaning that they are hopefully aiming to release an actual patch, not just server-side changes to try and fix the servers, but actual patches that could fix some of the major bugs such as missing cutscenes or more just gameplay related stuff that you can't fix from the server. I'm sure most of you might have seen it already, but in case you didn't, they did actually come out with a statement yesterday that said the following: "Would like to thank the Battlefront community for their overwhelming support and feedback for the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection release. At launch, we experienced critical errors with our network infrastructure. The results were incredibly high ping, matchmaking errors, crashes, and servers not appearing in the browser. Since launch, we've been working to address these issues and increase network stability, and we will continue our efforts until our network infrastructure is stabilized to prevent further outages." And honestly, I think it's kind of sad to see that they don't seem to have any proper communication, community managers, nothing like that. All we got was this super generic statement, and they don't mention any of the hundreds of bugs people have reported, graphical glitches, the FPS cap on servers, or most importantly, half of the cutscenes missing from the campaign. None of that is mentioned, and they basically just talk about the network stability and servers. Sure, that might still be the most important thing, but I don't know if they're actually doing anything to improve this. I tried to play a little bit today in Battlefront 2 and I still thought the netcode was absolute ass, and then you see people posting clips like this on Reddit. Like, who wants to play a multiplayer game that feels like this? It is a pain to try and constantly shoot someone, but nothing happens. And when I played today, it was the same experience as yesterday and the day before. I played for half a game and realized this just isn't fun. Why am I playing multiplayer? It's completely pointless. I don't even know if they can fix something like this. I have no hopes in that with Aspyr's previous track record as well as their lack of communication. I think if we're lucky, they're gonna fix some stuff like the missing cutscenes and things like that, but actual stable servers without huge netcode issues, yeah, I'm not sure about that. And the thing is, this game seems to be dead already. They decided to release this without any cross-platform play. I saw people on Reddit saying, oh, there's like 2 people in total on the servers right now, mostly on PC, but even some people saying the same thing on Xbox, where all they can find is a server with 16 players on it. So I decided to go and check today during the afternoon, which is kind of peak gaming time and a weekend, and it was so sad to see. In Battlefront 2, there was not a single server with more than 4 players in it, and there was less than 20 players playing in total. In Battlefront 1, there was 1 server with 16 players that I played a little bit in, but honestly, even if it was a way better experience than Battlefront 2, the lag and desync just didn't make it any fun either. So at this point, I've pretty much given up any hope on the Battlefront Classic Collection's multiplayer. Even if they try to tweak stuff and make it better, are people actually gonna come back? I just want them to fix the single player right now, and then I know I'm gonna have this game in my collection and I can go back and play instant action, Excel mode, 5 of first journals, but the multiplayer, I don't know, it's just no fun when it's so bad, so desynced, none of the hits register. But honestly, since it is spread across multiple platforms, I would love to hear what you guys think on the platform you are playing on, as like the Switch seems to be the version that works the best. I've heard most positive stuff about the Nintendo Switch and also the Xbox, and it seems like even the servers might be okay there, even though it might not be as noticeable when you're playing on a handheld device. I'm not sure, but on PC, it's just no fun, to be honest. And obviously the servers are completely dead, so even if you want to play multiplayer, you're gonna have maybe 2 or 3 people on the server that's actually players, and the rest is just gonna be AI. I think it's interesting to see how the community has shifted over all these years. Obviously, when the games came out from EA and DICE, Battlefront 1 and 2, there was a lot of issues, especially for the second game, and everyone said, oh, don't worry, there's better Battlefront games you can play, obviously referring to the originals. And now we've actually come full circle, and I'm kind of shocked on how much attention this tweet got by me, as it's probably honestly my most viewed tweet ever. But basically someone said, don't worry ladies and gentlemen, there's an actual functional Battlefront 2 you could be playing right now instead of the garbage classic collection. And honestly, he's not wrong. I have so much more fun playing EA's Battlefront 2 than I do with the classic collection. I still really enjoy it for the single player part, and again, if they fix the 501st journals, I'll be playing through that for sure. But in terms of smoothness, gameplay, balance, you know what? EA's Battlefront 2 has all of that on the classic collection right now, if you ask me. And obviously the multiplayer servers are a million times better in EA's Battlefront 2. So in the end, if you want a single player experience, I would probably still recommend the classic Battlefront games, as they were such a big part of my childhood. But if someone just wants a multiplayer Star Wars shooter, go for EA's Battlefront 2. You're gonna have a much better and more fun time than the originals and the classic collection. All of this attention has also sparked up some interesting conversations, as IGN actually made an article titled "We Need Another Star Wars Battlefront Reboot." And they give a pretty good backstory on the entire franchise, both from back when the original games launched in 2004 and 2005, and all the way up to EA's launches, their fails, and also the huge success that Battlefront 2 became after turning the game around completely over a 2 to 3 year period. And then obviously back to the disaster that was the classic collection launch. But I like when they go forward and talk about how live service shooters can still be a thing without being like pay to win or really any of those negative stuff that people link with live service games. And their most recent example was Helldivers, which has been a huge success. Imagine a Helldivers-like game in Star Wars with a focus that plays a bit like Battlefront. That's a game I would play the crap out of, for sure. And whether or not we need another reboot, I don't know. I think maybe a Battlefront 3 would be better, but considering EA seems to be imploding on themselves and even the Battlefield stuff seems to be handled so poorly, they're laying off people, the directors are leaving left and right. If they can't even handle Battlefield properly, there's just no way they're gonna pick up Battlefront. So I just don't think another publisher and studio would pick up and make a Battlefront 3. So if there's any chance of Battlefront continuing in the future, it probably has to be through a reboot, even though I don't know if anyone will ever dare touch this franchise again after all the issues, all the cancelled Battlefront 3 games, the launch fiascos, and all that kind of stuff. I just wish someone would see that despite all of those flaws and issues, people love this franchise, and it wouldn't surprise me if the classic collection still sells really, really well despite all of the issues, showing that just imagine a modern Battlefront game with a successful launch. I think that would just blow the market away and definitely become the most sold Star Wars game ever. Because if these games that have really poor or just okay launches still sell as well as they do, imagine what a drama-free and good game could actually do. But yeah, that's all I've got for you today. A little bit of an update on the situation with the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. Hopefully we'll hear some more from Aspyr, but honestly my hopes for the multiplayer is just down the drain right now, and I just hope they fix the single player campaign, and that way at least I have some part of the game to enjoy. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.